Respect is not something you can demand from others. It cannot be forced, negotiated, or tricked out of someone. It is something that naturally grows when your presence, your actions, and your purpose align. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with quiet confidence, not to those who shout for attention. The moment you stop trying to impress others and start focusing on being your authentic self, everything begins to shift. You start to attract instead of chase, to command attention without asking for it. This is the foundation of real influence, the kind that lasts beyond titles, achievements, or appearances. When you walk into a room without the need to prove yourself, people notice. Your calmness, your energy, and your clarity of purpose speak louder than any words could. The secret is that respect begins with self-respect. When you truly know your worth, you don't have to convince anyone else of it. The people who spend their time chasing approval often appear desperate, and desperation repels, but self-assurance draws people in. It creates a sense of gravity, a magnetic pull that makes others curious about what you stand for. The reason respect is so powerful is because it comes from authenticity. People are deeply intuitive. They can sense when someone is genuine and when they're performing. You earn respect by being consistent, by showing up as the same person in every situation, not shifting your behavior based on who's watching. Authenticity means you act according to your values, even when it's inconvenient. It means saying no when it matters, setting boundaries, and never trading your integrity for approval. When you stop chasing people and start investing that energy into your growth, something profound happens. The same people who once overlooked you begin to take notice. The same doors that felt closed start to open. It's not because you've changed who you are. It's because you've changed your focus. Instead of trying to fit into someone else's world, you've built your own. People respect creators more than imitators. They respect the ones who lead, not the ones who follow trends. Earning respect is not about dominance or superiority. It's about influence. Influence comes from how you make others feel in your presence. When people feel seen, heard, and valued around you, they naturally want to be near you. You don't need to boast about what you've done. Your presence and your consistency will speak for you. The strongest leaders are often the quietest in the room, not because they lack confidence, but because they've learned that silence can be more powerful than words. There's a difference between popularity and respect. Popularity fades the moment people find someone more entertaining or more useful. But respect is deeper. It endures because it's rooted in character. People may not always like you when you set boundaries or when you hold your ground, but they will respect you for it. The courage to stand alone when it's easier to follow is one of the rarest and most admired qualities. When you carry yourself with purpose, others feel it. Every action, every decision, every word you speak leaves an impression. You don't need to talk about your values. People will see them in how you live. The way you treat others, especially those who can do nothing for you, becomes the true measure of your character. Respect isn't built on moments of attention. It's built on years of consistent, unseen effort. True confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. It's quiet, steady, and unshakable. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. When you live with that kind of discipline and intention, respect becomes the natural consequence. Others begin to admire not just what you've achieved, but how you've achieved it. In the end, respect flows toward those who lead with integrity. It's not given to the ones who chase fame or approval. It's reserved for those who live by principle. When you learn to value your voice, your time, and your standards, the world starts to value them too. People chase what they can't easily have, and nothing is more captivating than someone who knows their worth and refuses to compromise it. That's the paradox of respect. The less you demand it, the more you receive it. It's earned through patience, shaped by authenticity, and amplified by purpose. The moment you stop seeking validation from others and start living in alignment with who you truly are, you'll find that respect was never out there waiting to be found. It was always within you, waiting to be expressed. Words have power, but their power depends on the intention behind them. Many people talk endlessly, filling every silence with noise, trying to sound important or intelligent, hoping that more words will make them more convincing. But the truth is, people don't respect those who talk too much. They respect those who talk with meaning. When your words are chosen carefully, when they come from thought and conviction rather than impulse, people start to listen differently. They begin to lean in, to pay attention, to remember what you say because it carries weight. Silence, in contrast, creates space. It gives your words room to breathe, to resonate. Silence allows others to reflect, to process, and to feel your presence. It's not emptiness, it's power. When you don't rush to fill every pause, you communicate confidence. You signal that you're in control, that you're not desperate to be heard, because you already know your voice matters. Silence can be intimidating, but it's also magnetic. It draws curiosity. People want to know what you're thinking, what you'll say next, and why you're so calm in a world that can't stop talking. The loudest person in the room rarely commands the most respect. Loudness often masks insecurity. Those who truly know their value don't feel the need to prove it. Their power lies in restraint. Speaking less isn't about withholding your thoughts, it's about elevating them. It's choosing quality over quantity. When you speak only when it matters, you teach others to pay attention when you do. That's how influence works. Every word you say shapes how people perceive you. Your language is a reflection of your mindset, your discipline, and your self-awareness. If your words are careless, reactive, or rooted in ego, they lose credibility. But when your words come from clarity and purpose, they build trust. People start to associate your voice with wisdom, not noise. The ones who speak with intention rarely need to repeat themselves because their words already land deeply. Listening is a lost art, yet it's the foundation of meaningful communication. When you listen fully, without planning your next sentence, you gain insight others miss. You understand what motivates people, what worries them, what they're not saying out loud. And when you finally respond, your words carry more weight because they come from understanding, not assumption. Respect is born in the moments you choose to listen when others choose to speak. Speaking less doesn't mean being passive. It means being deliberate. It means recognizing that silence can be your greatest strategic tool. The pause before you respond gives you control. It shows you're thinking, not reacting. It allows you to choose your response instead of being a victim of your emotions. This ability to pause and measure your words separates strong communicators from impulsive ones. When your presence is quiet but your mind is active, people feel it. They can sense that you're not distracted or self-centered but fully aware. That awareness gives you an edge. You become the person in the room who others look to for calmness and clarity. And when you finally speak, your words cut through the noise like truth in a storm. That's what happens when your silence has substance behind it. Every leader, every respected individual, knows that tone and timing matter as much as words themselves. Saying the right thing at the right moment can change the course of a conversation, a decision, even a relationship. But blurting out everything that crosses your mind only dilutes your credibility. The power lies in discernment, knowing when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to let silence do the speaking for you. People remember how you make them feel, and your words are part of that. When you speak with empathy, when your words are rooted in sincerity instead of showmanship, they touch people in ways that last. You don't have to use fancy language or force emotion. Respectful speech is honest, simple, and direct. It's about clarity, not performance. The world is full of voices shouting to be heard, but few that truly connect. To speak less and mean more is not just communication, it's discipline. It's knowing that your words are a reflection of your mind, your silence a reflection of your strength. Every pause, every measured phrase, builds an image of someone who thinks deeply, acts deliberately, and commands attention without asking for it. People chase noise for a moment, but they remember meaning forever. Keeping promises is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to build respect, but it's also one of the rarest. Most people don't realize how much their credibility depends on the small things they say and do each day. Big promises grab attention, but it's the small, quiet commitments that reveal your true character. When you tell someone you'll do something and actually follow through, even when no one is watching, you communicate reliability. Reliability is the foundation of trust, and trust is the currency of respect. Without it, every relationship, personal or professional, starts to crumble over time. It's easy to make commitments when you feel motivated, when energy and excitement are high. But the real test comes when the feeling fades. Do you still follow through when it's inconvenient, when no one will notice if you don't? Respect is earned in those moments when you hold yourself accountable despite the lack of recognition. People notice patterns. They may not say it out loud, but they are always watching how consistent you are. The more dependable you are, the more they begin to rely on you, and eventually to respect you. When you break promises, even unintentionally, something subtle but significant happens. People start to doubt your word. They may forgive you, but a seed of hesitation is planted. Every time you fail to deliver on what you said, that hesitation grows. Soon, your words lose their weight. You might still speak with confidence, but people no longer believe you fully. That's why consistency matters more than charisma. You can inspire with passion for a day, but you earn respect with dependability over time. Small promises carry enormous weight because they show discipline. Saying you'll call someone back, showing up on time, meeting a small deadline, these are the everyday moments that define your reliability. They may seem insignificant, but they are the proof that your words and your actions are aligned. When people realize they can count on you for the small things, they'll trust you with the big things. Respect grows naturally from that trust, layer by layer, moment by moment. People often underestimate how much respect can be built simply by doing what you say you'll do. In a world where excuses are normal and inconsistency is common, reliability stands out. It's not about being perfect, it's about being responsible. It's about owning your words. When you give your word to someone, you're not just making a statement, you're creating an expectation. Meeting that expectation strengthens your reputation. Breaking it weakens it, regardless of how talented or intelligent you are. Respect doesn't come from grand gestures or dramatic moments. It comes from showing up again and again, even when it's inconvenient. It comes from staying true to your principles when no one else is keeping score. The people who consistently keep their word build reputations that last, not because they chase recognition, but because they treat every commitment, big or small, as a reflection of who they are. That's why trustworthy people naturally command respect. Integrity is the invisible thread that ties promises to respect. It's the quiet force that keeps your reputation intact even when no one is around to witness your effort. Integrity means doing what's right because it's right, not because someone's watching. When people sense that you live by that standard, they begin to trust you instinctively. They stop questioning your motives and start believing in your intentions. That's when respect deepens, when your consistency becomes your identity. Keeping promises isn't just about others, it's also about yourself. Every time you follow through, you reinforce your own discipline. You remind yourself that your word has meaning. But when you fail to honor your commitments, you train yourself to doubt your own reliability. Over time, this weakens your self-confidence. Respecting yourself starts with keeping promises to yourself, waking up when you said you would, finishing what you started, staying disciplined even when no one is holding you accountable. The people who earn lasting respect understand that words are contracts. They don't speak carelessly because they know every commitment, no matter how small, reflects their values. They measure their promises carefully and honor them completely. That kind of consistency builds a legacy. Others begin to look to them as examples not just of success, but of integrity. In a world full of broken promises, the ones who keep theirs become unforgettable. Trust and respect are not things you can demand. They are earned quietly, through consistency, through follow-through, through the unglamorous work of being dependable every single day. It's not about impressing others with words. It's about proving them with actions. Every promise you keep strengthens the invisible bridge between your intentions and your reputation. And that bridge, once built, becomes the pathway through which respect naturally flows. There is a powerful difference between chasing and attracting. Chasing comes from a place of lack. It's the constant feeling that you need to prove something, that you have to win people's attention, affection, or approval. When you chase, you're telling the world you don't believe you already have value. But when you focus on becoming someone of substance, someone with depth and clarity of purpose, you stop running after others. You begin to draw them in instead. People can feel the difference. They can sense when your confidence is real and when it's borrowed from their validation. When you chase approval, you hand over your power. You allow other people's opinions to determine your worth. That's why chasing always leads to exhaustion. It's an endless race with no finish line. No matter how hard you try, there will always be someone you can't impress, someone who doesn't see your value. But when you focus on building yourself, on becoming more capable, disciplined, and self-assured, something remarkable happens. You start to create a natural gravity. People notice not because you're trying to be noticed, but because you stand out without effort. Attraction comes from authenticity. When you are comfortable with who you are and you live in alignment with your values, people feel drawn to you. It's not about manipulating anyone or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about being so genuine that your presence feels refreshing in a world full of pretenders. Authenticity radiates a quiet confidence that cannot be faked. It tells others, without words, that you don't need their approval to feel complete. And ironically, that's what makes people respect and pursue you more. The need to chase often comes from insecurity. When we don't fully trust ourselves, we look to others for confirmation. But external validation is unstable. It comes and goes with moods, trends, and opinions. The moment you stop needing it, you become free. You start to act based on purpose rather than pressure. People sense that independence and admire it. They begin to see you as someone grounded, someone who doesn't bend easily, someone worth following because you're leading yourself first. Building attraction isn't about appearances or clever words. It's about energy. There's a calmness that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. You don't chase people because you understand that what's meant for you will align naturally. That calmness is magnetic. It pulls others toward you because it represents strength and certainty in a world where most people are lost in comparison. People are drawn to the ones who seem unshaken by chaos, who move at their own pace, who don't rush to fit in. Every time you chase, you lose focus on your growth. You spend energy trying to be seen instead of becoming better. But when you invest that same energy in improving your mindset, your skills, and your discipline, you become someone people naturally want to be around. Excellence attracts attention. People are drawn to those who quietly master their craft, not those who loudly demand recognition. The more you build yourself, the less you need to chase because your results start doing the speaking for you. When you stop chasing, you also stop settling. You start setting standards for how you want to be treated and the kind of people you allow into your life. You realize that being alone with purpose is more powerful than being surrounded by people who don't respect your worth. That self-respect becomes visible. It shows in how you walk, how you speak, and how you respond. You no longer react to rejection with bitterness because you understand that not everyone is meant to walk with you. You attract people who align with your vision, not those who drain it. The irony of attraction is that it grows stronger when you stop trying to create it. When you no longer chase people, you begin to chase your mission, your goals, your growth. You become busy building a life that excites you, and in doing so, you radiate passion. That passion becomes magnetic. People respect those who are deeply involved in their own progress. They're drawn to those who have purpose because purpose is contagious. It inspires and influences without trying. Standing still while others chase after everything that moves can feel uncomfortable at first, but it's in that stillness that you discover your power. You learn that you don't need to compete for attention because your authenticity already sets you apart. You start to understand that influence is not about how loudly you speak or how much you're seen. It's about how you make others feel through your quiet confidence. The ones who move with intention always seem to move faster, even when they appear calm. When you embody this mindset, you shift from needing others to wanting connection that's mutual, respectful, and real. You stop fearing loss because you're no longer dependent on external approval to feel significant. The power to attract lies in being complete on your own. People chase what they can't control, and nothing is more captivating than someone who is content without being complacent, someone who knows their worth, focuses on growth, and moves with unwavering purpose. Being calm in the midst of chaos is one of the most respected and rare qualities a person can have. When everything around you feels uncertain, when people panic and emotions run high, the person who remains centered becomes a quiet source of strength for everyone else. Calmness doesn't mean you don't feel pressure or fear. It means you have learned to manage it. It's the ability to hold steady when circumstances try to shake you. People naturally look to those who seem composed under stress because composure gives them a sense of safety. It's a silent form of leadership that commands attention without a single word being spoken. In moments of tension, most people react impulsively. They let their emotions drive their words, their tone, and their decisions. The calm person, on the other hand, pauses. They take a breath before responding, allowing reason to step in before emotion takes over. That simple pause changes everything. It shifts you from being reactive to being intentional. It shows control, discipline, and self-awareness qualities that always earn respect. When others lose control, the calm individual becomes the anchor that keeps the situation from spiraling further. True calmness is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about understanding that panic never solves problems. The calm person focuses on what can be controlled, not on what can't. They conserve their energy for solutions rather than wasting it on anxiety. This quiet discipline radiates confidence. Others begin to trust your judgment because you don't get swept away by drama or fear. In moments of uncertainty, they turn to you, not because you have all the answers, but because your presence brings clarity when confusion takes over. When you cultivate calmness, you're not just managing your emotions, you're shaping how others perceive you. Emotional control signals maturity. It tells people that you can handle pressure, that you won't fall apart when things get hard. In work, relationships, and leadership, that reliability becomes invaluable. The calm person is the one others call when things go wrong, the one whose voice steadies the room. That kind of trust doesn't come from authority. It comes from consistency. Every time you stay grounded in a storm, you strengthen the respect others have for you. The ability to remain calm starts with self-awareness. You have to know what triggers your emotions, what thoughts cause stress, and what fears try to control you. When you recognize those internal reactions, you can begin to manage them instead of being ruled by them. Calmness isn't something you're born with, it's a skill built through practice. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen it. When you learn to observe your emotions instead of being consumed by them, you develop emotional intelligence, and with it, you gain influence. Calm people often exude quiet confidence because they don't rely on external chaos to feel important. They don't seek validation through arguments or emotional displays. They operate from a place of security that comes from within. That inner peace makes them unshakable. When others see that nothing easily disturbs you, it makes them trust your stability. Respect often follows because people admire what they wish they had, the ability to stay grounded when everything else feels uncertain. Maintaining calm under pressure also shows strength of character. It's easy to stay composed when things go well, but it's your reaction in moments of crisis that reveals who you truly are. People remember how you behaved when everything was falling apart. Did you panic and spread fear, or did you keep your focus and help others stay composed? Calmness doesn't mean suppressing emotion, it means mastering it. That mastery earns admiration because it demonstrates that you can lead yourself before trying to lead others. Being the calm one doesn't always mean being silent. It means speaking with clarity, not chaos. It means choosing your words carefully, especially when others are too emotional to think clearly. Your tone can either add to the storm or quiet it down. When you communicate calmly, people listen differently. They trust that your message isn't driven by ego or fear, but by logic and perspective. That's why calmness and respect are so deeply connected. Both are built on control, understanding, and presence. Calm people often have an invisible influence. They don't dominate conversations or force their authority, but their steadiness shapes the atmosphere around them. In chaotic situations, emotions are contagious. If one person loses control, it spreads quickly. But calmness is equally contagious. It brings balance, eases tension, and helps others think clearly again. The one who remains calm becomes the one who leads, not by demanding obedience, but by modeling composure. To stay calm in chaos is to possess quiet strength. It means mastering the art of stillness when everything else moves too fast. It's the difference between reacting and responding, between noise and presence. The calm person doesn't need to prove anything, because their steadiness already speaks for them. When you develop this kind of composure, people begin to look at you differently. They see someone who doesn't break under pressure, someone they can trust when it matters most. Someone who's calm becomes a source of strength for everyone else around them. Respecting others, even when they don't deserve it, is one of the hardest disciplines to practice. It goes against our instincts, especially when we've been disrespected or hurt. The natural reaction is to match energy, to respond with the same tone, the same attitude, the same level of disregard. But true strength lies in restraint. It lies in choosing dignity over revenge, composure over ego. When you respect others regardless of their behavior, you show that your character is not dictated by someone else's actions. You're not reacting to who they are, you're staying true to who you are. Respecting others in difficult moments doesn't mean tolerating abuse or letting people walk over you. It means refusing to lower your standards of decency. It's understanding that how you treat others reflects more about your principles than about their worthiness. You don't show respect because they earned it. You show it because you embody it. That distinction is what separates leaders from followers and emotionally intelligent individuals from the easily provoked. Every time you choose to act with grace instead of hostility, you remind the world that strength and kindness can coexist. When you respond to disrespect with composure, you disarm it. The person who expects anger and receives calmness loses power over you. You shift the dynamic from reaction to control. Respect in those moments becomes a strategic strength. It allows you to rise above the level of conflict and maintain clarity when others are driven by emotion. People watching from the outside will remember how you carried yourself far more than what caused the confrontation in the first place. Respectful behavior under pressure builds silent authority. Showing respect also creates boundaries without hostility. When you treat others with dignity, even when they fail to reciprocate, you're not excusing their behavior. You're setting the tone for how you engage. You can respect someone's humanity while rejecting their negativity. You can stay firm in your values without adopting their hostility. That kind of balance earns quiet admiration because it's rare. Most people let their emotions dictate their reactions. The one who doesn't becomes memorable. Respecting others, especially in disagreement, requires emotional control. It's easy to be kind when everyone agrees with you, The real test is when your patience is challenged. Respect in those moments isn't about being polite for appearance's sake. It's about self-discipline. You're teaching yourself that your peace matters more than winning an argument. You're choosing long-term strength over short-term satisfaction. People begin to notice that calm certainty. They may not say it, but they respect it, because it shows that your emotions are not easily manipulated. When you treat others well, even those who haven't treated you fairly, you create a contrast that speaks louder than words. It makes others reflect on their own behavior. Sometimes the greatest way to make someone aware of their wrongs is to respond with unexpected grace. It highlights the difference between reaction and intention. This doesn't mean you accept mistreatment. It means you rise above it. You can walk away respectfully without shouting or burning bridges, knowing that your composure is a reflection of maturity, not weakness. Respect also builds credibility. In any environment, workplace, community, or relationship, people are drawn to those who are consistently fair and measured. They may not always agree with you, but they know you'll handle situations with integrity. That kind of predictability creates safety, and safety breeds respect. The person who can treat everyone regardless of status, opinion, or attitude with decency becomes someone others trust. They know that no matter the situation, your response will be thoughtful, not reactionary. Practicing respect in challenging moments doesn't just influence how others view you, it transforms how you view yourself. Each time you respond with patience, you strengthen your own sense of control. You start to see that you don't need to engage in every battle, and you don't need to win every argument. There's confidence in knowing you can maintain your integrity no matter how others behave. That self-respect becomes a quiet power that radiates outward. Others can sense it, even if you never mention it. When you respect others without expectation, you begin to understand the deeper layers of empathy. Everyone has a story, a reason for why they act the way they do. Often, disrespect comes from insecurity, pain, or fear. Seeing people through that lens doesn't excuse their actions, but it helps you respond with perspective rather than anger. It allows you to maintain compassion without compromising boundaries. That ability to empathize while staying firm earns deep respect, even from those who might not admit it openly. In a world where disrespect has become common and retaliation is often glorified, the ability to rise above it stands out. Treating others with respect, regardless of how they treat you, makes you rare. It shows that your values are not situational. They're part of your identity. You stop mirroring negativity and start modeling strength. Over time, that quiet, consistent respect becomes your signature. People begin to associate your name not with reaction, but with control, poise, and an unshakable sense of integrity that commands admiration without ever asking for it.